Pendas. Good morning, my pandas. Welcome to the stream. I'm glad that you guys are here. Just finished a pre-market show. Always have a great time there, and we'd love to see you guys there. If you guys have not yet decided to become a panda, it'd be amazing if you guys could join us. The more the merrier. Good morning, guys. Make sure you guys fill out that poll as well. Let me know what kind of day you think it might be. You know, to be honest, it's rarely accurate, but it's good to know what people are feeling, at least on the day, and then we can use that for pre-market analysis and maybe help us out a little bit. Cube Gift says good morning all. Aaron Korn, good morning. Speedy Boy, good morning. CJ, good morning. Carl Herman, good morning. Idris, good morning. FZN, good morning. Alan Hanel, good morning. Good morning, Panda Nation. SW Blaze, good morning from Chicago. Yeah, also if you're just joining the stream, drop your location. Drop your location. Don't give me your address. Just drop like, you know, the city or just the state you're in or the country you're in. It's just nice to know. It's fun to know where people are from as well. Sometimes I like to make fun of the place where they are. Such as New Jersey, the armpit of America. Zero Cool, good morning. Kid Poker, good morning. Jeff, good morning. Bernadette, good morning. Bernadette being so encouraging, uplifting, says, good morning, traders. Hope you were all green yesterday. Let's go, baby. Hope you guys were too. Hope you guys got your bamboo yesterday. Martin Roher says from Austria. Moon from Phoenix, Arizona. I have friends there right now. Not Phoenix, but Arizona, and they are traversing the Grand Canyon and Mount Zion. Mount Zion is actually, I went to Arizona for the Grand Canyon, but honestly, I thought Mount Zion was just way more aesthetic for me. I don't know. It's weird because, I mean, Grand Canyon is like grand, very grand. I mean, it's amazing, and nothing against the Grand Canyon. Yeah, nothing against the Grand Canyon. You know, don't get offended. But I'm saying Mount Zion, man, that like, I don't know. It's something about looking up at a mountain rather than looking down into a big canyon. There's something about that gets me, and it was really nice. Kamal says Las Vegas. Morning from San Francisco. Adachi, good morning, guys. Oh, a couple of you guys are from Las Vegas, huh? Las Vegas. Are you guys like do you guys actually live inside Las Vegas or like just close to it, like 45 minutes from it, like in Nevada? Actually, I really like Las Vegas. I actually went there during the pandemic, and that's right. You heard me right. The pandemic, and it was like at the area was kind of loosening it up, and so like the buffets were still closed. Corsi is onto something, and there are two gaps right now. Huge gap overnight. Also, there was a gap yesterday that has not yet been filled. Again, we're trading between two gaps, and it's absolutely crazy. I've never seen the ES open with so many gaps. And also, I don't know how long it's been since I've seen a gap not be filled for weeks. Right, this gap has yet to be filled, and you know what? I'm just gonna move this one here at this point. So we're trading between two gaps again, and so that makes things a little bit confusing because you don't know which one's gonna get filled first, and so you can kind of like, it can change directions on you. And so like my bias is gonna go whichever one we're closest to, we're probably gonna go to that way. So we're closer to this one, but we're almost like 50-50 between both of these. So a little confusing pre-market analysis here. We got a, you know, break a trend, attempt to new high. I think we can still make this new high, but you know, it's a little sketchy right now if we're going to actually make this new high. 4 pushes down, push up maybe, right? 4 pushes up, right? This is why I like L4, H4 setups. L4 setup, right? 4 pushes up. You can see with this 4 here, and 4 pushes up, reverses. Also 4 pushes down, then reverses. Now we're gonna get another 4 pushes up if we don't break this pivot low. If we break this pivot low, then the number will reset to 1. You can see it with your own eyes here. We got a 2-leggy forming on the 10K chart as well. A, B, C, 2-leggy on the 10K chart. Of course, yes, not by age. I mean, for these two, they're so basically 1 day apart. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. It just says, what is the theory behind filling the gap? The idea is that gaps always get filled. And especially if we're talking about a 23/5 market, which means that this market is open 23 hours or 5 days a week. Especially on markets like this. You know, our market just opened. Gonna sit on our pause a little bit here. You know, especially with a market that's 23/5.
10,000 tick second entry.
Very, very rare for the gaps to form in general and to last even overnight. But this has been an exception here, where the market has been very gappy. It's actually really crazy. I don't think I've seen the market gap this many times, and leaving like 1 day gaps, right? Usually gaps fill within the moment they open, but you know, there might be like a small gap, like a 1.2 point gap, and then it'll fill, you know, right at the open. But right now we're getting gaps that are just they're forming and they're not filling right away, which is just, I don't know if I've ever seen conditions like this before. Like, I'm gonna have to look back at this time and be like, yeah, gaps always fill typically, except there's this one time where they just were created and never filling, like they weren't filling right away. And this is like the exception, like huge exception. This is like the 1% exception. Yeah, again, we're between the two gaps right here. So I don't know which bias I have right now. I do have break a trend. And I'm looking for a new high still. But, you know, who knows? We're creating a type of triangle right now. And why do I mention triangles? That means we're in breakout mode. Breakout mode means that typically we'll break out to the side of the original trend, which is up.
Entry.
That's most likely. And so if we do break out, then there's more chance for this to be successful. Like perhaps it broke out to the downside. The way to trade the breakout is you got to fade that, because most likely that will fail and come back up into the triangle or whatever consolidation pattern it is, and it will come back up and maybe have a failed breakout, come back down to the, you know, test the apex and come back up. But yeah, right now there's no setup for me here. Perhaps if we get a 2-leggy outside, like way above here, we get 2-leggy to get a, you know, an entry. You know, say this kind of breaks out here, I will probably be interested in second entry long here and then entry long. Something like this. That's how you kind of want to trade your breakouts. But who knows right now? I mean, that's obviously a failed breakout right now. This is probably going to lead to a failed breakdown. And then it's probably actually going to go back up, which is kind of crazy to think. But most likely actually come back up. Also trading range here with the trading range indicator. Might come back up to the top of the trading range. New high was attempted here, right? This is actually a perfect triple top, right? 1, 2, 3 hits. Triple top. It's perfect because it's the exact same spot, right? It's not even one tick above or one tick below. It's exactly the same price. So now we're breaking down, right? So we broke out, we break down. Most likely this will fail and this will come back up. So we will try to fade this with a higher low setup, but most likely we won't get it.
10,000 tick second entry.
If you look at the higher time frames, we're confused because we just created a outside, inside, outside bar, OIO pattern. Pushes down, 2 legs down here. Most likely that would have been a failed breakdown, but now look at the price action, it might be successful. We might actually break down here. Might try to fill the gap now. Huge bear bar ending near its low, right? Multiple bear bars in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bear bars in a row. You're gonna have to start maybe thinking that this is actually breaking down now. Currently, the follow through is not the best. Right, it's lacking its follow through. Matched with this pretty strong bull bar. Matched with a strong bull bar, but matched with the bear bar. So when you read the price action bar by bar, you can kind of tell exactly what's happening here. You can't tell exactly what's happening, but I mean, when you just call it as it is, it kind of gives you clarity, and it's almost simple, almost, and intuitive, where it's just like, when you see overlapping bars like this, you're just kind of like, I'm confused. I don't know what's happening. And and then you trade it like that, right? You just don't trade. We have a 2-leggy here forming. Let's see if it fails. And I mean, I'm not really looking to trade this breakdown. You kind of want to fade this. Thinking it come back up. Trap does trigger here. I almost want to go long here on a higher low setup, trying to fade this breakdown, but the higher low setup, micro triple bottom. Okay, no more. Actually pushing down now. That trap fails. I'm looking for a higher low setup. I'm looking for some reason to fade this breakdown. If we get a setup to fade this breakdown, I'll take it. Another push down here. It's doji. Overlapping bars. Confusion in the market. When you got the first 3 overlapping bars and the continuation of overlapping bars, that's when you know to sit on your pause. That's why you know not to take that trade. Ends up working out for you because your stop loss would have been up here, and so you actually were able to take that trade and come out with a scalp at least. No setup to go long, so no setup. You still have to trade a setup if you're gonna trade a failed breakdown or breakout. Jimmy N1S, where's the best place to learn your setups and entries? I always recommend Pat's price action trading system by from Mac, and also Al Brooks. If you are interested with Al Brooks, then you can there's a link in the description pointing to Albrook's trading course, and it's an affiliate link, so it helps me if you use it. So I always recommend those two. Pat's basically teaches it like how we are trading here with he calls it a two-legged pullback. He calls it second entries. Albrook's, he'll call this setup H1 or H2 L2 setups. He also, I think, will call the second entries, but yeah, he uses second entries a couple different ways. Just watching this, so now we know the breakdown is successful from this. Right? Failed breakout to breakdown, and then a test of this top here, which was a perfect triple top. I mean, it looks like it wants to fill this gap. It's so close, and you know, in my mind, I'm like, well, might as well fill the gap while we're down here, and then can reverse violently. But who knows? There's two gaps formed. So we're in a downtrend, spike and channel. The channel is very steep though. That's a pretty steep channel for a spike and channel. Right, spike, channeling down. Why do I mention spike and channels? Because they often lead to trading ranges. Spike, channel, and then what we're expecting is to come back up to the bottom or the top of the channel, and here it decides, you know, doesn't want to come back down, doesn't want to come back up. Typically does something like this. Spike and channel breaking now. What would typically look for is actually a new low at this point. It really depends on how steep you want to make your channel, but I'm going to keep it like this because it has a couple hits on it. And I'm thinking we're going to make a new low here. New low and then finally reverse. But I'm going to sit on my pause here. I'm not going to trade this new low. Even though it's a two-leggy off the 20 MA, I'm going to sit on my pause here. And I'm just going to trade the trap trade to the long side at this point. If we get a trap trade to the long side, I'll just take it. As in, because this trap failed, I'm also thinking now that this second entry is going to fail. And I want to take that reversal. No entries for us. Even if this reverses like very violently, there's just no entry for me, so I'm just gonna have to miss it. Alon asks, are those a 20 EMA VMA? No, it's the EMA. 20 EMA, the blue line, solid blue line. The dashed line is a 240 SMA, which is a weird moving average to use, but there's a reason why we use it. Jojo asked an interesting question. He says, increase one size or price target, which is smarter? Depends on how big your price target is, and it will completely change how you trade. You know, like if you're creating your profit target, then you know, you're swing trading. You know, it depends on how big you want to make it. If it's like 1 to 2 points, you're still scalping. I would say anything below 4 points is basically a scalp, and so yeah, it depends on how much you want to raise your target, because the trader's equation changes. And also, you know, increasing your contract sizes, that depends on how big your account is. And I'm usually down for, you know, maybe a little mix of both, but most of the time, if like You know, I don't know the situation, like why you want to do what you're doing. If you want to do it because your count size is growing, then you can increase your contract sizes. If you want to just change your strategy, then you can increase your profit target. I mean, that depends on really like volatility, in my opinion. Like if the signal bars are large, then you increase your, profit target. It's not one or the other. It's really like the situation. We got a trap trade to the long side here. I don't know. Listen to my pause. You're kind of still looking for a new low at this point, and I'm gonna feel a little silly if I took that long, knowing that we're still looking for a new low. The reason being is because we had a strong signal bar here and actually a scalp made, so that means bears are still making money, and I don't want to enter this trade knowing bears are still making money here. Sitting on my pause. Is Matt on vacation today? What's going on? Make sure you guys scalp that like button. If you guys know, there's like a running lore here. Every time I have unusually a lot amount of viewers, at least during the live stream, it's usually because Matt's on vacation. So I always wonder, something happened to Matt? Is he on vacation? Is he sick? What's happening here? Is he golfing? I'll say at this point, there's only 2 legitimate live streaming futures channels right now, and you're in one of them. That reversal ends up working out. Finally, it kind of triggers. I'll be sweating the entire time with that candle here, and I'm not mad that I missed it, but I'm more annoyed that it looked like this for those who did enter it. Thoughts and prayers, because you almost, it wanted to kind of go, and if it broke below that low, it could have easily stopped you out. Matt's sick? Oh no. Thoughts and prayers to him. Man, there's this stomach bug that went around. It kind of like destroyed a lot of people. I hope it's not that. There was like a stomach bug that like just made people just vomit, like just spontaneously. They almost couldn't control it. And it led to like other things. It led to like, mental instability, and it's just like, it was crazy. I don't know if you guys follow the channel In the Money. I mean, they're a huge channel. Or he has a really large channel, and he recently talked about getting sick, and I think whatever happened to him, I mean, it seemed like his was very specific, but I just hope for Matt, it's literally just a stomach bug, and just it goes away. I know he has a family, so it's like you just don't want anything bad to happen. But yeah, I can almost tell. Like I know when Matt's not streaming, because welcome to the stream, pandas. Welcome to the stream. If you're new here on Bye Money, thanks for joining. I'm just waiting for a setup here. We got a L4 setup, lower high. That's actually a better entry than this entry, in my opinion. L4 setup, good signal bar. The only thing is 1, 2, 3, 4. We got about 5 points of risk, 4.5 points of risk right there. Making that new low, finally. You know, this is what I was waiting for. Now I want to look for a reversal setup here. You know, you got break a trend to new high. This could be a new downtrend, but I think it's just basically the new low of this downtrend. So we had the spiking channel, now the channel broke, and now new lows created. So I'm actually looking for a reversal somewhere around here at this point. Thanks for subbing. Sitting on my pause. And you're thinking at this point as well, like if this triggers, maybe the gap will fill. I mean, we're pretty close to it, and if we trigger it with a trap, man, you know, it can fill very quickly. Of course, he took the L4. I mean, that's a good setup. Not bad. I was kind of talking about in the money guy being sick. A little distracted. All right, let's focus, pandas. Yeah, of course, this is a good setup, right? Lower high, like I mentioned, lower high, off the 20 EMA, right? From a break of trend, looking for that new low. Good setup. That was a nice setup. It's probably the best setup today. If you don't know, we trade pure price action here, so you're gonna hear me talk a lot about every single bar and like the characteristics of the bars and certain patterns. So we're not using indicator, we're not using cumulative delta, we're not looking for divergences. We're basically trading the chart depending, just based off the price action, based off these candlesticks. And for us, or at least for me, that's enough. I have enough information from these candlesticks to know exactly what the market is trying to do. Well, not exactly, but to a certain degree, you know, the probabilities of what the market will most likely do, because all of these things, you know, happen time and time again. And so every single price action setup, there is a certain probability for every single one. And so got a higher low setup here. I almost want to go long here, but I'm still worried about this gap filling first. So I'm hesitant to go long. But this is the spot. This is the place where we're looking for a major trend reversal. It's the place. It's kind of where we'll look for it. We're getting a second entry short here, potentially. Boy. I'll take a trap trade to the long side. Emmanuel Martinez asks, do I have any trade alert services? I don't. What I do have is we have a two-legged pullback Discord where we continually talk about trades after stream. And we also talk about setups. You know, we're like, you know, if I see a good setup during the stream, I'll mention it to like a pullback Discord and say there's a, you know, a failed second entry long happening, approaching, or second entry long I like, 10K tick chart. There's a second entry long off the 20 MA I like. You know, I would say, you know, and I'll give up setups that will, you know, approach, and I will, you know, tell the Discord if I like it or not. I'm looking for a failed second entry long at this point, which means that I need A, B, C, A. That's a little tricky because it actually triggers below us, so let's get that failed second entry short and go long here, pandas. Sick and tired of this nonsense. Richard Harris in the house. Retina says, if it ain't go up, it'll go down. Not necessarily. Trading ranges. The bane of most traders' existence is the trading range and choppiness. Strong bull bar ending on its high. No entries for me here. Unfortunately, I was looking for a reversal setup, but never got it here. Only this failed trap here. Unfortunately, no setups for me here. I would have liked the failed second entry short, and that's what I was waiting for in this area. But now we're far away from 20 MA. So if we're going to get it, we need the failed second entry short to actually get closer to 20 MA here and then maybe reverse. Like, this is too high. Too far away from 20 MA at the moment. But this is the area where you look for the reversal. When I'm sitting on my pause, right? We got break a trend to new low. New low created above the 20 MA now, and now we're looking for a long trade. And this trap trade is typically what we're waiting for, right? Failed second entry short. But the problem is it's a little too far away from the 20 MA, so I'd like it closer to 20 MA. Maybe go long here. Maybe go long here, but yes, so perfect tap off that 20 EMA. That's kind of what I'm looking for, and I'll go long here. I'm going to attach it to the indicator here, so the moment it moves down, it'll move my target with it. All right, this super signal here, and it will always go in the spot where you should enter your trade. A super signal will do that, and it's a pretty big risk here, but we'll take it. I like this trade a lot. I'm gonna go long. You know, I only really take trades that I feel confident in. So this could bite me in the butt, but I like everything that's set up here so far. And I don't like this right here. I don't like that the fact that it's coming back down. Boy, oh boy. See, now this is your new signal bar, and I don't like it. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that it retraced this, because this is telling me, right, give me signals that this is turning to a trading range, right? If this was a true breakout, it should not have reversed like this and covered the whole distance of the previous bar. To me, at the minimum, trading range is starting to happen. So I don't feel confident anymore to go long. I just don't feel confident at all right now in any trade. It's starting to go sideways here. Most likely will fill the gap now, in my opinion. Most likely will fill this gap now. This is going to be the movement towards to fill this gap, in my opinion. I'm actually going to take a lower high setup here if we get it, because you know it also will be up. So we lost because we went below this pivot, but so the count reset. But I would have been interested in a lower high setup here in this area. Thinking we're going to try to fill this gap. The main reason being the higher time frames. The higher time frame has always been, right, this is a 10,000 tick chart, has always been below the 20 MA, and now this 3 just triggered with that poke below here, and so now I have completely bearish bias trying to fill the gap, which is right here on the 10K chart. Trap here. I'm looking for a reason to go short. We got a lower high setup. Typical like a second entry short, but lower high setup might be what I'm looking for here. Creates an outside bar reversal. Not interested in outside bar reversal, especially on a setup that I normally don't take. But I don't want an outside bar reversal. That's an outside bar reversal here, right? It reverses up and then the same bar reverses down. I don't like those. I'm taking this short. This is far away from 20 May. Do not copy my trades. No longer interested in that. I'm eager to go short here, but I mean, you gotta have your limits here. That's a really bad signal bar to go against. I'm looking to go short here. I still think I like this short. Attach it to the super signal.
$10,000 tick second entry.
Do not copy my trades, right? Most people will try to fade this breakout to come back up. I have a clear target here thinking we're gonna go down because we created that trap on the 10K chart. But a lot of people try to fade this breakdown because they're seeing the chop here come back up. I'm having a slightly bearish bias here. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4 point risk. It's all good if I lose this. I understand the risk here. I'm willing to take it. Do not copy my trades. Overlapping bars. It's getting a little trickier, a little choppy here. Try to swing trade this. Try to swing trade this 4 points. I could come out with my 2-point scalp already. I'm gonna try to swing this here. Thinking that we have a really good setup right now. I'm wondering if I should protect my capital. Come up break even. If we get here, come back up here. Let's go, baby. Easy peasy, easy money. Let's go, baby. Getting that bamboo. Up 1,000. Swung trade the entire position for 4 points right there. Looking for that new low here, and the risk was, honestly, I should have maybe even gone for more there, because I mean, we're talking about 2 times risk reward. It's back to the low of yesterday, and we're going straight to it. And so if I had a runner, for some reason that ATM didn't have a runner, and so I just decided to swing the entire thing and got 4 points, but could have got 2 times risk reward there. And that's kind of what you have to trade, at least for breakout setup, right? This is a breakout setup here, and you know, we're breaking out of the trading range, and we're banking on the fact that this will break out, or in this situation break down. And you know, 2 times risk reward is typical for these setups, right? Probability is lower, but the setup, the good risk reward, typically good risk reward, which was yesterday's low. I mean, it looks like we really want to fill this gap now, but, and also the higher time frame. Right, we triggered this 3 here, right below the 20 MA. You know, I had bearish bias because this 3 triggered on the 10K chart, making me feel like we have good reason to go short here, and this trap just confirmed the direction. So you say that 2 times risk reward, how it bounces right off of that. You know, people taking the profits off that swing trade. This is exactly why that happened. Also, a lot of people have limit orders right at that low, thinking they can come out with, you know, at least a scalp, or maybe huge reversal. You know, some people just wait for big reversals every day. We're about to fill the gap. We're about 2 points away. Almost just want to sell it here, thinking we're going to fill the gap and just like free 2 points. But I'm up 1,000 already, just being patient for this one setup here. And it's okay if you lost that, you know, you lose about 4 points, but the potential here. So I basically did like a 1-to-1 risk reward, and that's kind of why I chose 4 points. So I did a 1-to-1 risk reward right here for this trade. For you to enter this trade, you need to risk 1, 2, 3, and 3/4 points. So I just came out with 4 points there, knowing that's a 1-to-1. So you can win one and lose one, and you come out break even. But You know, you gotta just be better than 50% with those trades. We're so close to filling this gap. I cannot imagine not filling this gap before we reverse. And who knows if we will reverse here. Kellyanne, I mean, you'll still be in a runner here. If you're in a runner, you'll still be in a runner. Just that my ATM didn't have a runner setup. I just switched it to the runner setup, and it's unfortunate. But I mean, I ended up swinging the entire position, which is very good as well. So, you know, 5 contracts. That's quite a lot of money. Kellyanne got 8 points off my runner. Let's go, baby. Congrats. You know, this is something trades by Matt never does. He never draws trend lines. I mean, he does, but he does it like as a joke. I feel like he only looks at, you know, his indicators and things like that. So here you'll see a lot of trend lines. You'll see a lot of boxes. You'll see a lot of, you know, commenting on every single bar here, just because we believe here that, you know, in order for you to really understand the market, you have to understand the language of the market, and the language of the market is the price action. Gonna fill that gap filled. No more unfinished business here. Who knows, this can just be a strong bear trend day today, and but honestly, I have no idea. For you just joining the channel, this might be the first time for a lot of you guys, and so I'm Baba Money, and ignore that lawnmower outside, some landscaping going outside. But if you're new to the channel, or if you've been here for a while, I just want to explain just a couple of things that we do here, because a lot of this might be confusing if you have no idea what's happening. So on this stream, you know, there's a couple of things we believe. We believe that the best way to read the market is by reading the price action. That means we like to read bar by bar what's happening here and try to understand, why did this movement happen? Why did this push happen? Why did this reversal happen here? Why do we bounce off this red line? You know, why are these things happening? And for us to be able to understand the price action helps us maybe to enter trade for the next trade. We also believe that the market is controlled by institutions. You know, retail traders, we cannot move the market no matter what, no matter how many contracts I trade, you know, unless I'm trading like 1 million contracts. But really, you know, the retail trader has about 5% stake in the market. So everything else is, you know, 95% is by institutions. And so whatever trade we enter in, we're entering in with institutions. You know, we just want to go along the ride with institutions. And so every trade here, because of that, makes sense, right? We believe that the institution, right, this tick here, this one little tick, that one tick up, this one tick down, one tick up here, that's created by institutions. No retail trader can actually influence the market, which means that there's a reason why every trade happens, right? There's always a buyer and seller. And so there's an institution, right? Even though this is going down, there are institutions who are buying here, and they're buying thinking that they're going to, you know, they have in their strategy, right? They're buying because according to their algorithms that it should reverse or go up, and they could be scaling in and whatever, doing whatever they want. But there is always a buyer and seller for every single trade, and because every trade is controlled by institutions, that means there's an institution on both sides of that trade. So that means there's always a bear case and bull case for every trade, which means that every single trade is controlled by probability. And so we talk about the trader's equation a lot here. And so I know this might be very confusing for a lot of people, but I figured it's important for you guys to know, because we're going to be using this terminology a lot. And so, you know, we have the trader's equation, And you know, the trader's equation is simple. It's basically your win percentage times your reward over your loss percentage times your risk, and you multiply that by your probability, and that should give you your edge. Anything above 1, or you can subtract the 2. Oh, sorry, not your probability. The percentage of. Sorry, let me say that again. It's your win percentage or your probability of winning times your reward, subtracted by the probability of losing times your risk, and that equals your edge. And so you want anything to be anything above 0 is your edge. And so you hear us talk about probabilities a lot here in your risk reward. When it comes down to the specifics, we trade only one single setup, the two-legged pullback. And I'm going over this because obviously, you know, there's a lot of new viewers here. The two-legged pullback is just a simple setup that looks like this. No indicator really tells you this setup except the two-legged pullback indicator that you see on the chart. But, you know, no indicator, no momentum indicator, you know, will tell you that two-legged pullbacks are happening. Basically, it's just 2 pushes down or 2 pushes up. And then we like to enter what we call the second entry. You know, the way we identify this is a first pullback, first entry, second pullback, second entry. And if you want more details about the setup, you can go to the description below. There are details on how to count legs, how to identify these second entries. And if you find these in key areas such as the moving average, then you know, that's our bread and butter. The moving average, two-legged pullback back to the moving average. You find this in key areas, you have like a 90% chance to make a scalp. You know, 1 point on the emini. And for every contract, that's $50. Also on the stream, we trade 100% risk-free. I believe Matt, traced by Matt, he uses top step. We use Apex. The reason I spend a lot of time looking at these prop firms, and I try to figure out which one is the best bang for your buck and the least sketchy, right? You know, I want evidence that, you know, people were able to withdraw money. And so I spent some time researching, and I found that Apex is probably the best bang for your buck. The deals you get and the evaluation rules are set up in a way where I feel like it's the best bang for your buck, better than Top Step. And so that's why we use Apex here. So we're trading 100% risk-free. And so this $1,000, this is risk-free trading. You know, I could lose $1,000 and yeah. If you want more information right now, especially because there's a 50% off code that will end in June, the end of June, you know, the deal that you get at Apex is the best deal you can get. By the way, these are all first entries. You can see with all pink numbers here. All these pink numbers mean that these are all first entries. Here's a gray one. That's a first entry as well. First entries. These are all first entries all along down this downtrend. So no entries for us. But if you're interested in Apex, you know, those who are in the pre-market show know exactly how many accounts I have, but I always like to use the example of four accounts. With Apex, you can open multiple accounts. The reason why we want to do that is because they have this thing called a trade copier, which copies your trades across all your accounts, right? Exact same trades. And the beautiful thing about that is that, let's say you have 4 accounts. With 4 accounts, I know there's some people out there who get excited every time I mention this, and some people are probably like, "Man, he said this 100 times already." But you know, for the new viewers, I want to say this because this can be an opportunity for you that you've never had before. With the trade copier, if you have 4 accounts, the way we do the math and figure out how much we can make in 1 year is basically you multiply 4 for 4 accounts times 250, which is the amount of trading days there are in the year. That equals 1,000, and that's why I use 4, because the number is easy, right? It's 1,000. Then you multiply that by the average you make per day, and that is how much you can make per year. Which means that if you could make $200 a day,
10,000 tick second entry,
just $200 a day with a trade copier on one account, that means you can make up to $200,000 a year, and that's no little money, at least not for me. $200,000 a year. If you have more accounts, obviously you can multiply that with an even larger number. Let's say if you have 10 accounts, that means you multiply whatever you make your average per day by 2,500. And so let's say you make about $200 a year or $200 a day. That means you make $500,000 a year if you can stay consistent on average $200 a day. That includes your green days, includes your red days, but at the end it must average out to $200 a day. That means you make, if you have 10 accounts, and what I'm saying is, right, to get 10 accounts is not actually very difficult. But I like to use 4 accounts because that's very reasonable. But 10 accounts actually is not that difficult, especially if you go for like, the 50K accounts. The 50K accounts, the profit target is very, very reasonable to make, very easy to make, in my opinion. And so with that being said, Apex can give you an opportunity that really you may never have had until today. All right, I'm going to answer some of your questions because it seems like a lot of you guys are asking questions here. This is getting choppy here, and we're far away from 20 May. It looks like it wants to keep going down here. Yep, big push down. It could be exhaustive bar here. This can be exhaustion bar. Let's see if there's follow through. How do you know if it's exhaustion bar or not? Well, typically exhaustion bars happen at the late end of trends and also no follow through. Here, there's some follow through here, so it's not an exhaustion bar. Oho Coho asked Panda, which plan are you using in Apex? You can become a member, and you have access to the pre-market show. In the pre-market show, I go over all my accounts and I go over all my off-stream trades, and so that's kind of reserved for the pandas. But yeah, I have a lot of accounts. And I trade them every single day. Zavion Waiters asks, where is it that we can learn this terminology and formulas? Look for Al Brooks on YouTube. He is the godfather of price action, and he literally wrote the book on it. And so he has a lot of free materials online, so you can get a little taste of what he's about if you look up his videos. Al Brooks, ALBROOKS, Al Brooks. Russell H says, make sure you sign up for each account using my coupon code. It is true. Make sure you do, because that is the best deal you can get. I mean, it's 50% off, so why wouldn't you? 90 Bid Even says, hiya, rather than having multiple accounts, why wouldn't you just trade with a bigger individual account? So the largest account you can get on Apex is 300,000. The obvious reason is because you can spread your risk around. You can spread your risk across multiple accounts, and so that means that let's say you have a 50K account where the drawdown is around 2,500. You can go for the 150K account, right, and try to trade with 3 contracts, but the trailing threshold, the ratio is actually smaller, right? It gets smaller with the higher accounts. They actually make it more difficult. And so when you have multiple accounts, you can spread your risk around across multiple accounts. But if you have like a big account, the thing is you need to have a really big account, because like I mentioned, the threshold is not the same. It's not linear. And so it actually becomes more difficult. The ratio between the threshold to profit target gets smaller. And so or rather gets larger. You know, it basically becomes more difficult. Speedy Boy says, I personally recommend the Al Brooks course, Amazing Value, $400. I mean, you don't even have to get the $400 one. I mean, I honestly think you don't even need the forex portion. You can just be good with the futures portion, and that is plenty enough. And I think that's like, I don't know, that's less than 400. That's like $200 or something like that. Big push down, no entries, right? No entries for us, not yet at least. Little sketchy here, right? But too far from 20 May. This is why I didn't want to enter it, right? We got close here, but Tanner says, Panda, how many contracts do you trade with during your 300K eval? I do mention that in the pre-market show, but for me, when it comes to passing evaluations, I trade very aggressively. But that's because I'm not trying to learn how to trade. I already know how to trade. I'm trying to get funded as quick as possible. And so that's why I try to finish. I trade aggressively because, let's say for the $300,000 account, basically to pass it in 10 days, you need to make an average of $2,000 a day. And so whatever you need to trade to make $2,000 a day, you know, for me, I'll consider every single day maybe to taking about 4 to 5 trades. And so in 4 to 5 trades, can you make an average of $2,000 a day? And knowing the 4 to 5 trades, I might lose some. It's like you have to consider that. So I trade very aggressively. So I trade, you know, 10 plus on the evals, on the 300K evals.
$10,000 tick second entry.
We have an H4 setting up on the 10K. Right, we have 4 pushes down on the 10K chart. And this might reverse here. Far away from 20 May, so you can actually maybe draw back up to it. Coming back to the 20 EMA here. Notice how the 20 EMA has just been acting as resistance this entire way. For me to go long, I need the 20 EMA to stop acting as resistance. So I need a strong push up here to break the 20 EMA, to break that pattern. Two pushes up, right? Two leggy, right? I always mention 2 pushes up because that means 2 leggy here. I'm actually a little worried to take this short, even though we're in a strong downtrend right now. I'm a little worried to take the short. Big risk now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-point risk. That alone will stop me from entering that trade. So for those who want to trade that trap, right, failed second entry short here, the market was stingy and didn't give it to you. Instead, it gave you micro double bottoms. So it kind of reversed without you, and that's unfortunate. And the market was being very stingy there. Typically, would wait for this setup for reversal A, B, C, and reverse for failed second entry short, and that traps. And at that point, right, when this reverses, both the bulls and bears are coming out. Bulls are coming in, bears are coming out at one spot, so that traps are very powerful trades. We do have a trap trade here, but for me, this is the first break of the 20 EMA, and so I'm actually sitting on my pause. I'm not going to take this trade here because the first break of the 20 EMA typically will come back down and make a new low, especially on a strong downtrend like this. Now, for those who enter this trade, thoughts and prayers to you. I understand why you want to take it, and I'll be, I'm kind of tempted to take it as well, but I'm going to sit on my pause here. Actually, the risk is very small. It's only about 3-point risk here, so not a bad trade to take just purely based on the risk here. But for me, first break a trend. Okay, so you got stopped out right now if you enter that trade. First break a trend, right? First break of the 20 EMA. I like to see more evidence. I like to see it happen one more time. Right, I like to break it and then go below, make a new low, and then come back up. And when we come back up to 20 EMA second time, then I look for a reversal, especially with a super strong downtrend. Right, with a downtrend like this, I'm less eager to go long, especially right there. Like, you just got stopped out. Howard asks, you don't have to pass it within 10 days, right? You can do it 15 or 20, 30, but if the month comes up, you'll get rebuild. I hope I'm right about this. That's 100% true. The 10 days is a 10-day minimum. And so that's why for me, I'm just trying to get funded. I'm not trying to extend my evaluations. I'm trying to get funded as fast as possible so I can hurry up and make money. And so to me, that's why I wanted to, it depends on what you want to do with the evals, right? If you're in the eval because you just want to practice trading, or if you're still learning, or whatnot, or you just want to be responsible and just trade the same way, then go ahead. That's it depends on why you want the eval, but you'll simply get rebuild. And the thing is, if you use a coupon, the rebuild is also 50% off, right? The coupon applies for every single rebuild. And so hopefully you can pass it before 30 days, before the rebuild. And, but for me, I just want to pass in 10 days. Michael ATF asks, how do you move your chart vertically? This is this is actually a question that probably a lot of people would like to know the answer of. If you want to move freely on this chart up and down and left and right, you press Control on your keyboard, and that allows you to move it around. Which I think is I wish that it was like Trading View, right? And you could just click on the chart and moves up and down. But yeah, you have to hold Control, and then that will do it for you. I'm actually looking to go short here. Looking for a new low. I'm actually looking to go short here. Not with a signal bar that looks like this though.
10,000 tick second entry.
We broke below 20 MA. Now we're slicing in and out of 20 MA. Starting to look a little choppy here. And that's what typically happens, right? After a strong downtrend, or any trend, you end up going into a trading range. That is the more common thing. Rather than a V bottom, typically you have a trading range. Could be a small trading range, just one or two legs up and down. And then it starts to reverse. A little confused right now. I wish the new low was created. Pandas, make sure you guys scalp that like button. The crazy thing is, Pandas, if you hit a runner here, you'll still be in a runner. If I had a runner off this trade, I'll still be in a runner. Higher low setup, huge signal bar, not interested. This could be break a trend to make a new high. Right. The reason why we look for these break of trends to new high, because on a higher time frame, it's simply a two-legged pullback. Right, on the 10K chart. By the way, if you want to know what chart I'm looking at, look at the top left of your screen. You can see what time frame I'm in. Right, this is the 10,000 tick. Also, look. I like to look at the 5 minutes. Actually, look at the 5. We haven't looked at this yet. 5 minutes just been 2 legs down. Huge move down on the 5 minute. And there's about a 90% chance we come and hit the 20 EMA sometime today. Sorry, not 99% chance we're gonna hit the 20 EMA sometime today. Not saying it's gonna hit it up here, but sooner or later, rather either it gets dragged down to us or we come up to it, it's going to hit the 20 EMA. Two-legged pullback off the 10K chart. Not interested in that trap at all. This is a terrible trap in my opinion. In fact, I would trade the if this trap fails, I'll trade the failure of it. So thoughts and prayers for those going long here. I know it looks very bullish right now, but you gotta know the market cycle we're in. Strong downtrend. Now in this downtrend, we had we're setting up for a major trend reversal. I'm waiting for this trap to actually fail here, and I will take the reversal off this trap. Right, this is a fail signature short so far, and if this trap triggers, I'm actually going to trade the opposite. I'm going to fade this trap here, because for me, this pattern is already done. Right, we already had a break of trend to new high. Right, this trap triggered here. I know we're strong off the 20 MA, strong bullish bar, but look to the left. Right, we have all this choppiness. I'm actually going to trade the lower high setup here. I'm gonna try to come in short here. Gotta time this pretty perfectly. All right, here we go. It's a big signal bar, but yeah. Signal bar is probably the weakest point of this trade here.
10,000 tick second entry.
Looks like it's reversing on me here. It might bite me in the butt. Might bite me in the tail. My proper stop loss is like up here. Sure, why not? I might end red today. But there's a reason why I wanted to wait for that. I wanted the lower high setup right there, because for me, right, we got to break a trend new high already created. So I'm looking to go low or short now. But you know, this could bite me in the butt. I could obviously skunk this trade and just get out with a small loss, but the setup, it's not too bad. I'll just hold it. The one thing I didn't like about this trade is the risk is very large. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 point risk. Come on. Let's go, baby. Ooh. Ooh. Missed my target by 1 tick here. Almost want to skunk this. If this comes back, I want to skunk this trade. All right, I'm out. I'm out. I didn't like what was happening there. I just skunked it. Came out break even. And I could feel very foolish. But for me, after realizing how big this risk was, I didn't want to lose that trade. Skunked that trade. Came out break even. And it is what it is. Came out break even. I will enter short again here if we trigger this 3. It says, I don't like how choppy it was. Terrible signal bar. We got, again, huge risk. 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically 5 points of risk right here. These risks are too large. 5 points risk. Getting very choppy, overlapping bars, but this is the setup that I like here. Fail second entry long. I just wish the risk wasn't so large here. It's a good trade to take. I'll come in with a retracement if possible. 1, 2, 3, 4 points. I'll come in with a small retracement if I can. Maybe back to the 20 EMA. I'll take a retracement here. But the risk is just too large. I can't take that trade. Strong bear bar ending on its low. In fact, it already made its 2-point scalp here. So I'm not sure if I'm interested in this anymore. Yeah, the 2-point scalp's already been made. So, you know, I could have held it and had my risk here, but it was just too large. So the fact that it got close and reversed, I didn't like it. So plus it was getting so choppy. It is what it is. Skunk that trade. Moving on to the next. It's a little too tricky here. A little too choppy. There are multiple overlapping bars. This is kind of where you sit on your paws. Going in and out of the 20 EMA. This is kind of where you just don't make any trades. Don't make any rest decisions here. Yeah, I was eating. I don't like, I don't know how some people do it. But I hate the sound of like spit. I don't know if you guys ever watch mukbangs, but some mukbangs are good because they don't really do it. But some mukbangs, they like put the microphone right next to their mouths, and all you hear is just like this
10,000 tick second
slobbering
entry.
noise. Just even doing it to myself, I hate the sound. So I just took a couple bites of breakfast. Breakfast today is some Greek yogurt, honey, granola, chia seeds, and some golden kiwi made by Mrs. Panda. So I don't know. She's trying to make me some sort of super panda, giving me this healthy food. What is this? Where's my bacon? Yogurt and bacon. Is that not right? I don't know. Russell H says, do you and your wife eat in separate rooms? We typically don't, but Mrs. Panda drops me off like panda treats because she knows I get super hungry during stream, and so she drops off like just a small treat, and then I will join her for the actual meal. Does Mrs. Panda trade the two leggy? She has two leggies, but she doesn't trade at all. I don't think, you know, the reason why is because any moment I even mention trading, like I just see her eyes glaze over. You know, I just start to see, you know, disinterest creeping in, and yawning starts to ensue, and she just, you know, so you know, I just figured that this is not something she's interested in. Toroto says, good morning, this new schedule sucks. What happened, Torotos? Do we, no, you know, if that sound does happen, you know, you know, basically that sound can be mitigated if you just close your mouth while you eat, you know.
10,000 tick second entry.
So if it does happen, I gently remind Mrs. Panda how much I just absolutely hate that noise. And so what typically happens after strong move down, and if we're going to try to reverse, what it first does, it goes into a trading range. You know, it typically doesn't go straight into a V bottom. You know, this is the more typical thing that will happen, right? Strong move down, then trading range, right? While the market tries to decide, are we going to continue to go down, or are we going to try to reverse here? The sound is or that's called misphony. Is that what's called? A hate of a certain sound. We're in a trading range. We're at the bottom of the trading range, so I'm not gonna take this trap here. Plus, it's far away from 20 MA, and we're just coming out of chop here, which can bring us back into the chop. So, you know, the idea is trading range from the top to the bottom, back to the top to the bottom. The idea is we come back to the top. By the way, if you guys are interested in the two-legged pullback indicator or the trading range indicator, right, this trading range is created. I didn't create this trading range. It was automatically created using the trading range indicator. Both of these indicators are price action indicators, and I like to have them both on my screen at all times. And you know, if you want more information about either of these indicators, you can go to the website www.twoleggedpullback.com. Yeah, misophonia, that's what it is. A hate of a certain sound. Mike asks, what is the commissions? The commission is basically the lifetime license. The lifetime license is
10,000 tick second entry.
So right, bottom of the trading range to the top of the trading range. Unfortunately, no setup for me to enter this. Ooh, back to the top of the trading range. That's the beauty of the trading range indicator. Top to the bottom, to the top, to the bottom, to the top. Who knows what's gonna happen here? It's becoming about 50-50 if we're gonna break out or break down from here. Russell H says, my wife suffers from the same eating smacking phobia you do. I get death glares if I'm eating chips. You know, chips or carbs, you're like mashed potatoes, even like bread. If you're just eating these things, this is like, that's just the ultimate combination, the worst combination you can, it's the worst that you can eat really when it comes to that smacking noise. Oh, we're just completely sideways right now. Hard to trade this, in my opinion, unless we get a lower high setup or a higher low setup. The thing about this trading style is that you have to be very precise. You know, Trades by Matt, he has a different trading style where you can, you know, you have a lot more room for error. And sometimes those errors can lead to big losses, but yeah, you have to be very precise when it comes to the strategy. This is why we take so much time just reading the market cycle. We try to basically snipe these entries. Danielle chiming in, never seen this name before, but she found that it was so important to mention this. She says, I wouldn't call it a phobia as it's not really a fear, more so it drives you into a rage, LOL. And so she mustered the courage to chat, and she thought it was so important to get that message across. She was willing to just lay down all that fear of chatting in front of hundreds of people to let everyone know it's not a fear, it's rage. And that is 100% accurate. It is rage that happens. Tom R says, I quit all carbs and sugar 3 years ago, lost weight and much healthier. I bet, but your life might not be so happy. So it's bottom to top, and guess what? Panda's back to the bottom. Trading range indicator, magic. Jojo says NQ is built differently. That's why Trade by Matt loses. Maybe I'll do like a special stream where I just trade NQ and try it out. Put a poll up on the, see if anyone will be interested in me trading the NQ instead of the ES. Oh, a lot of you guys say no. This is actually pretty close. I thought it would be an overwhelming yes, but this is so choppy. I'm literally just watching this. There's no way I'm entering any trades right now. I need to see a clear breakout of this consolidation before even considering entering a trade. Plus, if it does happen, it could be the final push down and we might reverse. Strong move down right to the top, back to the bottom. Who knows? We might come back to the top here. Hisham says, NQ is bad for your health. If you have a weak heart, do not trade. I'll just say that right now. We made a new low, finally, Pandas. Made a new low here. Maybe I'll try trade the NQ like on a special, like you know my main stream I'll keep it, and maybe like in an afternoon stream I'll do like a NQ trade or NQ. So my regular stream doesn't get disturbed. Maybe I'll try like trade NQ. Maybe I'll trade NQ after trades by Mac ends. You know, I'll try like trade NQ like after his stream ends. So we can have this like, and maybe he can trade the emini after my stream ends. I think he trades crypto though. I mean, I kind of want to trade. I don't really want to trade crypto. I tried forex before, and at the time I was only scalping, and so for me trading forex, maybe I'll revisit forex to trade the euro USD, or whatever charts out there that's good, and yeah, maybe I'll have like, you know, four currencies up, and you know whichever one is making a two leg, I'll just trade. Yeah, and try to beat his profit for the day. But yeah, I mean, trading forex or even you know, crypto, like the spreads are huge, you know. And when it comes to scalping, in my opinion, I cannot scalp. I could not scalp forex. I could not do it because the spreads are huge. Trades by Matt, stop trading Luna. I wonder why. We have a H4 setup here. On the higher time frame, strong bear bar ending on its low most likely follow through. So, in my opinion, because of that, I'm not interested in reversing here. I'm actually thinking this is going to make a new low, keep going down, because on strong bear bars like that, most likely there's some sort of follow through.
$10,000 tick second entry.
We might come back up into our trading range. Higher low setup here. Still not really interested in a long trade here, but that's a failed trap. Big signal bar now. About 1, 2, 3, 4. About 5 points of risk right there. Getting choppy, getting very sideways. I might have to call it here, pandas. Most of you guys would like to see me, but there's actually a pretty large amount of you who do not want to see NQ trades. Maybe I'll do a separate stream with NQ. You know, maybe after trades by Matt, so you guys can have, you know, especially those who follow trades by Matt, you know, might want more streaming on NQ. We'll see, man. Maybe NQ is just amazing for two-legged pullbacks. I don't know. Looks like we're coming back into our trading range, but trading range broke actually with this candle here. We actually have a two-leggy forming. Two-leggy forming here. New low created. I'll take the trap trade to the long side here if we were able to get it. Hassam asks, what is your upload speed, and what do you think the minimum requirement should be to place orders? I don't know. I have gigabyte or something like that. We're below the 20 MA. I cannot take this trade. We're too far below the 20 MA here. I want to be on the right side of the 20 MA if I'm going to take a reversal trade here. All right, Pandas, that's it. I got no setups here. Actually, let me see what happens here, and after I see what happens here in the stream. I would want to go long in this area right here, but it's below the 20 MA, so I don't like it. But this is the context I would like to go long. I just want to see what happens here. You're sweating drops of blood right now because you're so scared and get stopped out. If I were in that trade, actually amazing. Okay, so you got stopped out right there. It's a good thing I didn't enter that trade. Below the 20 MA, it's not much for you there, but this is kind of the area where you want to look for a reversal. So I don't know. Two-legged pullback underneath the 20 MA. All right, Pandas, that's it for today. I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow, and yeah, 9 o'clock for the pre-market show for those Pandas, and 9:15 for the main stream. So I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow. Tomorrow also is Whiskey Wednesday, and so we gotta reach that whiskey goal. It's been a while since we've reached the Whiskey Wednesday goal, so I'm excited for that. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And as always, happy trading. God bless. Bye.